everyone, the Wave Blur here in attendance, and welcome back to the channel.
Hello everyone, back on another video. And today I'm doing a fan art drawing of Isum and Yaira from the Rippaverse. The Rippaverse is a new comic book brand created by Eric July, or Youngper59, who hails from Texas. And so far, the campaign has made over $3.3 million in just a couple of weeks. This was a campaign that started back in the middle of July, and it has made over $3.3 million, outdoing most of these majority comic book companies here in the West, destroying records. He already destroyed the indie comic record, and I am all for it. I always been a fan of his content, mainly in the comic book space and how Hollywood is doing things. I've always been a fan of his commentary, and everything he's been saying is been coming to fruition in terms of our characters that we love, that we grew up on, changing them, race swapping them, changing their genders, changing other things about the characters that we love so much. And honestly, it kind of hurts me in a way, because these are characters that we were idolized by when we were children, and we want to share it to our kids, our nieces, our nephews, and now they're just destroying these characters, their images. And honestly, what Eric July is doing is the right thing to do, because we have to seek alternatives. We have to create the alternative, and I believe Eric July is taking that step into doing that. I believe the Rippaverse is going to win, because during the trailer that Eric July released for the Rippaverse, there was something he said that really stuck to me, and it's one of the main reasons why I believe in this comic book company.
Your ethnic background or genetic makeup is wholly irrelevant to us.
What he said right there was very important to me, and it was one of the main reasons why I pre-ordered his book, because I believe you can create amazing content without focusing too much on the ethnic backgrounds of these characters, and just focus on the plot and creating a good story. That's what comic books have always been, and I believe they have fell off from that, especially now with how Marvel and DC are doing things. They are focusing too much on the cultural and ethnic backgrounds of the characters, putting in social justice agendas, or they keep retconning these characters, and they just become unrecognizable to already established fans. And the problem with that is they're trying to focus too much on one specific group of people instead of an entire fan base. And in my opinion, that's one of the main reasons why Western comic books are just failing right now. But it's not just in comics either. Other avenues such as cinematic, movies, or animated series. One example I can bring up is the recent 2 seasons of Young Justice. I am going to be very blunt. Young Justice, in my opinion, should have stayed canceled, because ever since Young Justice came back in 2019, this show has been all over the place. Don't get me wrong, I still believe till this day that the first 2 seasons of Young Justice, in my opinion, was arguably the most ambitious series that DC has ever taken, and arguably one of the most successful series I've ever seen from DC, besides the shows from back in the Bruce Timm era. Young Justice, especially that first season, was absolutely amazing. A lot of people had the impression that they were trying to recreate what Teen Titans was, but this show, not only, I wouldn't say done it similar to what Teen Titans have done, but this show has taken a different route, and it was absolutely amazing, and arguably one of the best animated series of its time back in the early 2010s. But a lot of people were upset when it got canceled, but then the fandom absolutely came out in support to bring the show back, and the show was announced to come back in 2017. And when we got season 3 in 2019, the show, it was still good to have the show back, but that's when they started to lean towards, these social justice views, these agendas, and it was kind of losing the audience to these themes instead of focusing on the main plot. And then the problem became even more clear from the last season that we just had, season 4. Season 4 of Young Justice was absolutely all over the place, absolutely terrible writing. The story was in there, retconning characters, changing character skin tones, gender changing characters. It was just absolutely bad, in my opinion. And honestly, I believe that this show needs to go back in the shelf. In my opinion, I don't think this show needs to be out anymore. That's just my personal opinion. things like this, when I see things like this all the time, it just makes me even more excited for the Rippaverse and more excited for what Eric July is trying to do. Because like he says, we need to seek alternatives. We can't always rely on Hollywood. We can't always rely on this content, because Hollywood is oversaturated with the same thing, and we're going to keep getting the same thing over and over again. And every time they get a new idea, they'll try to keep it for as long as possible. And honestly, I'm just ready for something new. I'm ready for this alternative. So if you have not pre-ordered ISOM issue number 1 on Rippaverse.com, I highly suggest you pre-order it, and the other accessories on the campaign page. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. Comment below if you are interested in the Rippaverse or any issues that you have with the current Marvel or DC comic books or animated stuff or movies.
For those of you who made it to the end of the video, drop me a like, hit that subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. I currently have a website in development right now. It will showcase my animations, my original concept art, original character designs, and comic and manga strips that I've done. This is the Wave Blur, signing off.